Alright then guys, welcome to the video, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the house renovation series. Now, there's still loads to do, and we're pretty much just going to jump straight into exactly where we left off in the last video. So without further ado, let's get back to where we're at. A couple bits got done at last night. So this has had all of the red spots all painted now, and now this is looking a lot better. So we're going to move on to actually filling this room now. Also, Zara managed to get another coat of paint on the walls under the stairs. And here is the cupboard under the stairs, looking so much nicer, all white. Kind of hard to tell the difference between the walls because it's super white. The skirting boards are still yet to be done in here. And we've also got Zara's here. She is working remotely, and we actually haven't got internet installed yet, so we're just hotspotting our phones. So it is time to take the radiators off around the entire house. So we're gonna start by doing this one down here, and you want to make sure your heating's off or turned down below the temperature that it is, and obviously make sure that it's cold, and then you want to turn off the water supply to the radiator. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to get water coming out of the valves and it's just going to be a nightmare. So those are both turned off. Only one side ever has a key, so make sure that you close them off using the key. And then we've got this up here which uses this key, which we'll use to change the flow of the water as we release it all. I went and picked up this thing. It was £10. This will be incredible because this is just going to capture all the water. It literally clips around the pipe like that. Yes, you can use a tray, but this is just way easier, especially because we're going to do the whole house. Also, put down towels because there's going to be spillage, and obviously if you've got carpets that you care about, you don't want to soak them, and it's just better for clearing up. This is the key thing I'm talking about. You can see in there, that's what undoes. We're now ready to release it and get this water out. And then we're tipping all of that into the bucket, and the idea is repeat until we get an empty radiator. So now that this is drained, tightened up this again, because when we take this off we're going to flip it upside down, and obviously you don't want water to then come out of here. Wow, look at this awful wallpaper. Whoever thought this was a good idea? Lovely. Time to do this with every single other radiator around the house. And fast forward some more time and look at this horrendous wallpaper under here as well. This has to be the original. There's no way that this went on anytime after the 60s. This is gross, so obviously we need to get all of this off as well. But apart from that, this room is actually ready to paint, which is very exciting. So my dad is gonna come in here and paint in here with the new paint, and I'm gonna go downstairs and sand back to prep downstairs to be ready to paint as well, because we obviously need the dust to settle there too. But on the subject of paint, let me go show you what we've got. So what we have actually been using the entire time for any of this white paint has been this stuff. This is Albany matte vinyl white, and this is basically Brewers Paint Merchants like own brand paint. So that's what the ceilings are, and that's what all the walls are currently. Now the plan has always been to paint everything white with that as the base, but then to go beyond that with something a bit better. So what we've decided to do is from Crown, we're doing, this is really heavy, so we're doing this, which is just a scrubbable paint, which is going to be amazing for like longevity and just being able to wipe down the wall if there's a mark on it or something. It's going to be way better. Basically everywhere is going to get this stuff, including actually all the feature walls we're doing as well, is this white paint just mixed with colour to be able to create the colour we want. Also, we have gone around the entire gaming zone, dudes, and filled in, well, this room, even though it's the smallest room, has had by far the most amount of filler. As you can see, a lot of this wall, well, every wall looks exactly the same. It's almost not white anymore. It's more the filler color. And that's just because the paint that they'd used and the roller that they used when they did it basically left a horrible look in here, and this is what it takes to get it to, I guess, how I want it to be. I also need to sand all of this room as well. I'm gonna get on sanding some stuff whilst my dad starts painting. As you can see, my dad is now painting where the radiators have been, and we're gonna obviously blend all this in so you can't tell anymore, which is great. Also, all of the wallpaper is gone everywhere. All of these are gonna get painted now all around the house. So it looks so much better, even though you can't obviously see it when the radiators are there. Also, just had Wi-Fi installed, which is very nice. Gonna have 900 upload and download, which is sweet for YouTube videos and stuff. Also, it turns out that the guy that installed this used to work work at the Honda factory and actually was building EP3s, which is pretty cool. Also, Zara has done the first coat in here with the wipeable mat, and the idea is, well, I need to now sand back all of the areas and basically do the entire process you've seen throughout in the master bedroom. So yeah, I need to go around, sand the ceiling, I need to sand the walls because this has all had its first layer of filler. So I'm going to sand all of that. As you can see, I've taped up around the doors for the wardrobe because I don't want to get that dusty again with the dust that's coming off from all of this. So that can still be painted again and is ready to be painted the second coat. And so as you can see, we've got this crack running all the way along the underside of the windowsill. We're back onto this caulking filler to fill that crack in. We're going to use this type of sponge because this won't actually pull it out like this would, for example. So the plan is to do exactly that all over the areas in the dining room and in the living room because those are the two rooms that are going to get painted next. I've just wiped down this wall to get any extra excess bits of the wallpaper off, so that's done now, apart from around the plug socket because I need to take that out. But my job now is to paint this ceiling, but because you've seen us paint ceilings already, what's more interesting is that my dad is downstairs and he is painting and it is now the next morning because it got dark, and yeah, this is looking amazing in here now. This white, now that it's dried as well, just really makes this whole place feel way more uniform, and this white is really cool down here. So down here still needs one more coat, but this first coat alone's done wonders. This wall in the spare room is going to get one more coat because I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but there is still a very faint outline of where the sticker was on this wall. Hopefully one more coat should solve that. In the gaming zone, dudes, this is going to get sanded around here because this needed a little bit of sanding work. Around where the radiator was, it's had a bit in it as well, and there's a spot up here that has sunk back. So I'm going to sand back this and then wait for the dust to settle. Then this room is going to get painted today with the wipeable mat, which will be great. And also I am going to get another coat of white on the ceiling in the master bedroom. So now that this ceiling is painted, it's time for me to get on out here. So I need to scrub down all of the walls here to get off any wallpaper off of this wall. And whilst I've been doing all that stuff, we've just been out to get some paint, some more paint, so that should see us through for quite a bit. We've got a tub of both of the paints that I've already shown you. Whilst I was doing stuff upstairs, my dad has painted all of downstairs with a second coat now, and this looks so good. So what's really cool about this room is really close to being done. Obviously we haven't got any colour on the walls yet, so this still needs to be done in grey. That still needs to be done in grey, especially with all of this sun coming in right now. Just this room feels really bright without even having lights on. Obviously there's nothing in here either. The plan is now I need to sand this wall where the radiator was because this has had some filling, and then this is going to get painted. This wall has had its second coat and it's definitely made a bigger difference. You can't really tell where the sticker was now. This room has now had an entire coat of the scrubbable stuff, and that's looking a lot nicer in here as well. Next up is I'm going to be, after I've sanded in there, I need to paint this ceiling again because that is now going to be dry. And fast forward to another day, and the ceiling upstairs in the master bedroom is now fully painted, so that's done. And Zara is back. We've also got Minnie, you can see her starting to fall asleep down here. And we've got a list of lots of smaller jobs to do now that are going to start holding us up if we don't get these done to get the bigger stuff done. We're going to crack through as many of these little jobs as we can whilst we're here for today. We've got Zara in here scrubbing down all of the woodwork areas in here with sugar soap. She's in lightning speed mode right now. As I said, the ceiling in here has had its 4 coats now, so that is finished. And now Zara has moved into the landing area, and there's some proper grim spots in here. Like, this is especially, look at it. So yeah, try and get as much of this grease off as possible because this is the kind of stuff that means the paint won't stick. The idea is to hit all the wood with that, all around all of the wooded door frames, all that kind of stuff as well. And now now that Zara has finished upstairs, she's gone back to her bedroom to paint in here. This is the second coat of the wipeable stuff. She's also going to paint the second coat of wipeable stuff upstairs with the same roller and everything, so we can use that in one go, which would be good. And we're also outside jet washing down and just cleaning down all of the radiators. And whilst all of that is going on, I'm going to start sanding in here now. The room is ready to go. And it is a few hours later now. The dust has settled in here, so I've hoovered up and we've opened up this area again. And as you can see, Zara is in there painting now. This is the first coat of the wipeable stuff on the walls, and we're going to do another coat of undercoat on all the wood. I am going to start sanding the wooden banister out here now, because this shouldn't kick up too much mess. And the reason we've been leaving this whole area is because we're going to be walking through here to go to any room. Hopefully that's true, but I'm going to get cracking on sanding all of this wooden bit here and on the other side. Well, this is fun, isn't it? The paint that they've used to paint this thing has been the worst paint I've ever seen. It literally has just been peeling off. Look at all of this down here. It's almost like I've been peeling off like a vinyl sticker. This has thrown a small spanner in the works, because this is just so much effort to sort out now. But the better news is that Zara has finished in here now, and this already is looking so much better. It looks way better with, well, this is only still the one coat of the white, and the extra coat of the primer on this wood has made a big difference as well. Very happy about this, not so happy about the landing. And fast forward a few days and the dust has completely settled here now. The plan is now to repeat the process we've been doing in other places. So as you can see, we've got the fillet in the walls in the master bedroom all around here. That's also done in the landing. My dad has also, as you can see, started scraping off the paint off of here, and it turns out that there's 2 or 3 layers of paint that's coming off. This all needs to go back before obviously we paint over the top of that, because if we don't do that, the paint that we put on could just peel off as well. So this isn't totally finished yet. There's still bits to do. There's like the transition here. But what is very, very exciting is what is happening next. And that is that it is time to add some color. First wall that's going to get hit with the color is in the spare room, and this is going to be going, well, you're about to see the color. We haven't even opened the pot of paint to actually see the color in person. Like I said before, this is again the scrubbable matte paint that we have everywhere else, but just mixed with some color. We got any color we wanted mixed in. Even though we chose the color, we never actually saw it in the scrubbable matte in person. We just chose it from a board. Let's pop the lid and see the color that we've gone for. Look at that. So we're going for this kind of pink, very slight terracotta. At the moment, it doesn't look super terracotta-y, so I'm intrigued to see what this actually looks like. 1, when it's on the wall, and 2, also with a couple of coats. So the time has come for this to get poured out into the tray. Here we go. First bit of color is on the wall. And how sick does this look? This is exactly the color I was hoping it was going to turn out to be. And obviously this is still only the first coat as well. I think this is also amazing because this is obviously the first real step of us making it our own rather than it just being a white room. And so now that this color is on the wall, it's time now for the downstairs walls to go gray, which I'm very excited about. We've got another tub of the scrubbable paint down here in the gray. What we've actually decided to do is we've gone for a lighter gray than originally planned, because even though the darker grey would probably work here, because this wall doesn't get a load of light or anywhere near as much light as in the other room, we thought if we went too dark that this would just become a really dark space. Let's open this pot up and have a look at the grey, because again, we haven't seen it. So again, it looks very different in the glossiness because of it being wet than it will on the wall. And here we go, the first bit of colour downstairs. Also, you can see we're doing this section on this side as well. Man, does it make such a big difference in here. You can see these bits here, which are more wet, how much lighter that is than the rest of it, just through a few minutes of it drying different. What is also quite cool is obviously this white bit of the wall here is in the shade at the moment, so has almost like a grey look to it. And it kind of flows quite nicely into the wall that is actually grey, which is cool. That wasn't planned, but pretty cool that that's ended up happening that way. Now that this paint has dried a bit more, we've actually noticed a few little areas, as you can see, that have now been filled with a little bit of filler. Done the same thing in the gaming zone as well. There's some bits in there. But now the task is actually all of this carpet up the stairs and everything is all coming out. And that is because obviously we want to be able to get into this edge as close as possible, but also part of the carpets being fitted includes new gripper for the stairs and the landing. So we might as well take all of the carpet off the stairs now and give ourselves the best possible access. Looks like at some point in its life there was only carpet up the middle of these, because that's why this isn't painted. The plan is all of this coming off all the way up the stairs. Second coat is starting to go on. The plan is that instead of just painting over these areas to try and match them in with the first coat, we're going to go over the entire wall, and then if that doesn't cover them up, go over the entire wall again, because otherwise there's a chance we could end up with these patches. Now with the second coat on, this is looking even better. Look at how light this is looking, and then you turn, and just with the change in light, how much darker this is looking. So I'm very glad that we didn't go for a darker grey. And as you can see, this wall is drying, but you can't see any of those patches anymore, which is amazing. But it seems crazy. We've got the paint. It's not like we're going to use the paint for anything else, so we're going to do another coat of this just to be 100% sure, but also it should look nicer with another coat anyway. We've got the end of the first tub of the white wipeable mat, so 10 litres has got us to this point, and this point is getting the final coat on the walls in the gaming zone. The reason this has been left is a bit more sanding on the skirting boards, and we've done a couple bits of small areas of filling now that we could see them with the actual white on them. Also, this has now had 3 coats on it as well, so this wall is finished, which is very exciting as well. But what that does mean is it's time to move on to skirting boards. The wood is the next process for the house, and we're starting with the skirting boards, but this paint will also be used on the doors and around the architraves of the doors and all of that as well, so anything that's wood. And what we have gone for is this Crown Trade fast flow quick dry satin wood paint. And this is just a white as well, but we've got a 5 litre tub because we're hoping this is going to stretch around the house with everything that we need. And this paint is obviously going to go over the top of all the areas that have had the primer already, and it's time to get this white paint on around in the living room and dining room first. This is also the first time we've had this uncovered since we actually started painting it and all, so this is looking so good. And again, super happy that the grey contrasts so well against the wood. This is amazing. So what's still left on this is the inside in here still needs painting. But let's get this can open and get started on the skirting boards. Definitely wasn't expecting it to be purple. And now that it's actually all mixed together, it is actually white. That purple color was crazy. Yeah, this is now ready to go into the kettle. I'm going to be doing a little bits at a time because obviously with it being so close to the floor, although we've hoovered, dusted and everything, there could be little bits and all of that. So instead of wasting a load of paint, if we get some stuff in the kettle and it ruins all of that paint, a little bit at a time means that we won't then waste too much if anything does get in it. In terms of other rooms that are ready, we're in the gaming zone, and this has had a coat of the primer now and is going to be ready to go. Also, the skirting boards in this room are ready to go as well. And whilst the paint is going on in the living room, I've also got some stuff to do on the landing down here. Where the radiator was, it needs a little bit more work, where there's some wallpaper that needs to come off, and yeah, just a little bit more sanding and all of that as well. So I'm going to get on with that as well. I have now finished out getting that area prepped, so it just needs brushing down, and I'm now going to move into the master bedroom. As you can see, we've put some more filler on the walls, and this stuff needs sanding back as well, and there's other spots around this room too. So I'm going to get on doing that, create more dust, and whilst that is happening, my dad is also doing some more skirting boards. Okay, fast forward some time, it is now dark and we've got more filler in the wall in here now because I did sand all of this back, so that is the next load in there, and it's all the same process as what you've already seen but just in other rooms now. We've got a second coat downstairs on the skirting boards as well, and also I've dusted in the landing area and I've hoovered up and stuff, and now I'm about to wipe down the walls and then it's time for painting. So I won't bore you with this as you've seen this already. And all of this area is now wiped down and ready to paint, but what we're going to focus on for now is just painting this greeny blue wall because we need to, well, one, this is the wall that had all of the wallpaper on it, and because this wall is where it is probably the most high contact area of this, needs to be white so that we can do the filling on all the bits we can't currently see. We've done all the filling in the other walls because they're already white. My dad is going to get started on this whilst I hoover up in here, so then this means this room is then ready to be hit in the morning, and then I'm going to jump out onto the landing and help out here as well. And now that it's the next morning, as you can see, this wall has now got some filler in it, so this is on that process, and I'm going to be moving on to sanding back the skirting boards in the bedroom at the same time. My dad's going to be doing second coat in the spare room, and all of the skirting boards are done in here with their second coat now, so this is all done. Now it is time to move on to the first coat going on in the gaming zone. Got a time lapse set up, so in 3, 2, 1. And now that in here is more prepped, it's time to sand back the wall because this is dry now. So let's get on with it. And whilst I am still sorting out on the hallway, my dad is going to paint around the inside where the fireplace is in the same grey, obviously, that the wall is. So we've taped up down here so that no paint gets on the tiles. Let's go. And that is where we're going to leave it for today's video. Loads of progress, loving the colour on the walls, but obviously there's still quite a lot to do. But the progress is great and we're still going to keep cracking on as much as we possibly can to be able to move into this place. So thank you for sticking all the way through to the end. Leave a comment down below on what you think of how this house is turning out. And don't forget to subscribe if you've enjoyed this one. Like this one as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.